Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, Southland video here, revisiting the Colorado inflatable pontoon. A few months ago I purchased this pontoon boat and did a video on it. I told you once I got it in the water and took it out a few times, I'd let you know what I thought about it. So this video's to let you know, was it worth it? I'll go through some of the pros and cons and some of the modifications I made to the boat to kind of make it my own. And I'll let you know if, in the end, is it worth buying. Now, I'm not affiliated with Classic Accessories, and I bought this boat with my own money off Amazon for about $460. It's about 9 foot and 400 pound capacity. Here's what the boat looks like when I've got it out fully loaded. I keep the oars on the boat even though I have a trolling motor, and that's because I don't really want to lose power and have no way to get back in. Now, once you elevate the seat, which I did, it does make the oars a little difficult to use, but they still can be used. Now, one of the big differences with this boat than the way it came is I elevated the seat and I put a deck on the front, which my other video goes into this. Now, this rod holder I made with some PVC and some wood, nothing special, but it works, gets the job done. And yeah, that is an antique motor there. 20 years old, if not more, but it gets the job done. Now I went with the lithium batteries because they are so much lighter. I highly recommend lithium batteries. Now this seat I just made a few mods to. I just put some magnets on the bottom so that way if Macy felt like she wanted to sit, she could, but she tends to sit more on the front of the boat and let her feet hang in the water. But it's there if she needs it, and the magnets hold it in place. Now you see the front deck, the boat doesn't come this way. It's open and you're kind of just hanging over the water. And I wanted a standing platform, so I went on YouTube, seen some other guys done similar things to this. So I put my own twist on it, took an old shelf I had laying around the garage and fashioned it into a deck. And it worked out pretty good in my opinion. Now the Colorado is an inflatable pontoon, so you sit on top of the water versus in the water like a normal boat. You can see here, it gives you a good idea. It's susceptible to high winds or winds of any kind. It blows you around like pretty much a balloon. So you want to create some drag, and one of the ways I created drag was by leaving the wheels on the craft. And it's just a little aggravating to take the wheels off and on, in the water, so I just leave them on. Now it does kind of restrict your clearance. You tend to get, hung on rock and sandbars a little easier, so be aware of that. Now another modification I did too was to help keep the wind from bouncing the craft around so bad from left to right. Was I put a fin underneath, and I just pretty much took a piece of plastic, cut it into kind of a shark fin, and mounted it to the bottom of the boat. You can see it there in the middle, and it does pretty good. It doesn't stop the wind from moving the boat around, but it helps it tremendously. You can see here an underwater shot. To the right is the fin. You see a wheel, and you can see the trolling motor in the background. You see how it works. It kind of cuts the water, but it works. Good shot of the sunset there. And the deck mod I did. Now the pontoon comes with 3 pouches on each pontoon for storage. They're great, plenty of storage. The cup holders, not for me. I don't have any cup that will fit. But the good thing is they Velcro, so you can just take them loose and move them out of the way. Now this shows you how stable the platform is. Little Miss Macy standing up here. Shows you. Now I stand up also. Every time I fish, I stand up and I cast out. Just be aware of weight distribution. I just stow all my gear in the back side of the pontoon, so that way when I stand up, it levels it out. So Miss Macy having a good time. You want to make sure that you inflate these pontoons at 2.5 pounds of air each. I know that don't sound like a lot, but it actually does a really good job. It really makes them tight. I inflated the pontoons and left them for a couple of weeks just to see if they'd hold their air, and they did. They didn't lose it. Wouldn't recommend that. If you're going to store it, I'd definitely deflate them. Now, this setup is really versatile. You can launch from banks, ramps, docks. You can launch from anywhere. You can take this thing anywhere. It's really mobile. But some of the places you launch from, like this rocked area, you can't necessarily turn your motor on, and you can't actually cast off too well. So I recommend having a pole, or this is a walking stick I had laying around the house, about 6 foot long, so I can push off to where I can turn the motor on. That's just my thing, you know. And another thing I would recommend is this: safety. Now, little Miss Macy, like I said, she don't like sitting in her chair that much. She'd rather sit with her feet in the water. Well, the bad thing is, if she falls face first, she will go under the boat, and there is a trolling motor running, which can cause some serious damage to her. So I want to make sure safety is my number one. So basically, I took some Harbor Freight moving straps and attached to the straps on her PFD, and then attached another one to my PFD, and I tethered her to me. This rope will keep her from going face first, and she cannot fall forward off the boat. That's just my opinion. She's just 4 years old, so I wanted to make it as safe as possible. And it's not that big of an inconvenience when I stand up to fish. Just be aware of it and move it around. Now, at this time, I did only have one lithium battery. You can see it there to the right. I've took this boat out in 8-hour increments on the water, and it did great. Didn't have a bit of trouble. Didn't really notice a large voltage drop. I mean, the more you keep it on high speeds, the more it will drop, but it did really good. I just got concerned about having one battery, and we kept going farther and farther out on the lake. So I said, well, just to be safe, I don't want to get stranded on the lake with a 4-year-old. I went ahead and got the other 50 amp and put them together. And that way I don't have to worry about power at all. Now, this is a good view of the setup. Down at the bottom between my feet, you can see the fin that I installed and how it worked. Now here you can see little Macy dipping her feet off. The trolling motor I have does have multiple speeds, so I'm coming out of the rocks a little slow. Don't want to take it too fast and damage anything. Now, another thing is you can leave the oars actually in the water in the back of the boat, and they will help create some drag also. But now all these modifications I did was just to make it better for me. You don't have to do anything to the boat. Once you get it, it's pretty easy to put together. Just put it together, throw it in the water, and take off. Just the way it comes is perfectly fine. I just wanted to make it a little more comfortable for long periods of time with me and her, and it worked. It done really good. Now here we are getting a little faster. Now the boat itself is virtually no burden on the motor. The trolling motor, because I mean you're basically pushing on top of the water. You're not really meeting any resistance until you get into current, which is, with normal boats, you run into that problem. You know, it depends on the power. I have had this boat in current, and it does good. But like I said, that falls more on the motor than it does the boat. This boat's worst enemy is definitely wind. Now, the boat does not help you catch bigger fish. I wished it did, but I'm catching fish on it, but just not bigger ones. But I don't think it claimed to help you catch bigger fish. Now, another safety thing I like to do is, you see the green rope laying on the deck and going to Macy. That's the green rope that I use to anchor myself to shore when I come across. I'll throw it to somebody so you can pull me in. Now, that is also a good line to use when Macy wants to go swimming out in the water. So I have a safety line to her so I can pull her back if I need to. She is just 4, not the strongest swimmer in the world. And that way, if anything goes wrong, I can get her back on the boat. Now, all things considered, I have honestly took this boat out quite a bit. I have really enjoyed my time with it. I've had some frustrating moments with it. A lot of the frustration was just normal boat problems. But one of the biggest is definitely wind and wake. You know, you got a lot of people out on the water that don't respect other people and tend to make some serious wakes. And for a little boat like this, any craft kayak, it can be a little stressful. But this pontoon handled it really well. You know, better than a kayak. It would be really hard to flip this boat, capsize it. It'd be really hard to. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it'd be hard to. And just a little bit of a feel of security from it. It's pretty sturdy, pretty well made. So my overall assessment of the Colorado inflatable pontoon boat by Classic Accessories is I highly recommend it. Buy it, use it the way they intended it, or make it your own. I'm a firm believer in, make it comfortable or make it feasible. Whatever type fishing you want to do or whatever you want to do with the boat. Got a good platform to work with. Just make it your own. Now, there are more expensive versions of this, one of which it comes with its own wheel. I've heard a lot of bad comments about the wheel. It's kind of a single wheelbarrow setup, and a lot of people say it's not great. So I went with just me 2 wheels from Harbor Freight, made my own little frame, put it under there. Works fantastic. But that concludes my review. I hope you liked it. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you later.